Welcome, everybody. How you doing? This is Kicking Out of Two, the second podcast going on right now. um, we are going to talk some news today. I was a little late getting everything set up, so we don't have all the fancy.
No, it's fine. Don't say hi to me.
I was just trying to explain stuff of what went on. It was just wow. I mean, with you answering stuff before me, I thought it'd be okay if I went a little ahead. Because that's the way it always goes, apparently.
I mean,
We got 20 people watching us right now, and those 20 people, here is my auditory tag team partner, Tori. Tori, how are you doing?
I'm all right. It's kind of late. I'm tired.
Are you? Are you a little tired?
It's Mary's went back to work last night, so I'm not sleeping.
Gotcha. Well, don't no. Whoa, no. Don't not sleep. Sleeping's mandatory. That's something
It's
you
not
have
intentional.
to do. So today we don't have a 3 count. Thursdays are still kind of in flux of how we do Thursdays, because Thursdays there's only 2 shows that happen from when we talk on Monday or when we talk on Tuesday and today. So
Yeah.
I think we just kind of go
I was thinking
over
about that.
NXT and Dynamite because it's not too long of a show. Talk about the stuff that we kind of liked about it, and still do the news stuff. And I think this is going to be our official game day anyway. Once the game comes out.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of how we play it. Is we'll still do that stuff. We won't do a full 3 count. We'll just talk about the 2 shows. So before we get to that, though, let me I'll turn that off so we can turn that on. There we go. All right. So wrestling news. One that you just found out right before we got on here. So to set the scene first, because I don't want to give it away too quick. On TNA Impact, the Colognes showed up. We haven't seen Colognes in a long time.
Who?
Primo and Epico, the Colognes.
Shut up.
So they show up.
So I forgot that they existed?
Yeah. They interrupt Joe Hendry.
I'm grabbing some water. Keep going.
Sure.
Right here.
Yeah, so they come out and they interrupt Joe Hendry, and apparently they have a little tete-a-tete talking to him.
Really? That's what we're doing?
Well,
using big fancy words.
Use them big fancy words. That to lead to the new signee, which is perfect because Joe's in the ring with a guitar doing Joe Hendry things. TNA signed Elias, now known as Elijah, who we thought had signed with ROH, who they immediately denied as soon as that came out, to say, no, we have not signed anything official with Elijah yet. But he had done some vignette type things with The Righteous. So it was just kind of like I assume he's there, but apparently not. So there that is. So yeah, debut in Confrontation. He debuted today.
All right.
Apparently his first first conflict is going to be for Joe Hendry's title, which I'm not entirely against. I mean, I liked Elijah. It took you a long time to like Elijah.
It took me forever because fuck that guy was my original feeling. He grew on me. He did, and I admit I was walking with Elias.
So, I mean, first of all, what does this mean for TNA? What do you think, Elijah?
It's a good sign.
Yeah.
I think they're going to have the same problem with him, and I say this understanding that they have done a good job of taking what to me is mid-card talent and elevating them.
Yeah.
Honestly, with the partnership they have with WWE right now, there's not a chance I'd have made this signing without trying to get his name, or at least get use of his name.
Yeah. Go back to Elias, you mean?
Yeah.
I don't see that being a
Um.
problem.
eh,
I do have a curiosity too, though. So yes, the righteous have are under a contract. I don't know how long their contract is, but they've been there
Right.
for a bit. I wonder if that vignette was more of a personal thing, and maybe they're doing deals to maybe go to TNA, and we get the righteous with Elijah in TNA. Which, first of all, TNA alone, that's a bunch of great signing. Because then,
So
what?
the Righteous, their debut was summer of 23. So
Okay,
they're a year and a half in.
year and a half in. So if they did a 2-year contract,
If they did 2 years, yeah.
or if they did a year and they're just month by month now, like just by
Yeah, I don't know.
appearance.
There's so many different contracts that they have.
Yeah,
Um,
that is one thing like about AEW that it seems like their contracts are not as uniform as we're used to seeing because
they're not.
you have
I
some where it's
don't
like,
think
well,
they
he's
are.
there a year, he's here 5 years, and then all of a sudden, like we hit up on a year of that 5-year contract, and they're like, yeah, they're talking about him leaving, but he's in a 5-year contract. Well, that was unless we
Well,
did this and
and
this.
right, and there's also options and
Yeah.
guarantees, and sometimes if they don't hit those for whatever reason, then did you see that The Rock was going to be in a Martin Scorsese movie?
So I had not seen it. I had heard something about it in
So there
another
was
thing I
a
listened to.
tweet earlier that he was going to be in a Scorsese movie. So basically wasn't going to be around according to this tweet, and I don't remember who said he wasn't going to be there. Well, Triple H just put out a statement that he's going to be at SmackDown Friday.
Hmm. Well, I mean, it doesn't mean he can't show up. If he's going to be in a movie, he
Well,
can't do anything.
and that's just it. I don't know what the
But then again, like we were talking about with some of the other stuff, like WrestleMania, it's close, but it's not close. So if he's in a Scorsese movie and they're going to wrap up before Mania,
no. From what I understood, they haven't even started shooting.
okay, well maybe they don't shoot until
Now,
after
I
Mania.
again, they have 6 weeks, seven and some change, almost 8, isn't it?
Yeah.
8 weeks, 8 weeks from this coming weekend. Um, it's possible they could get this done. I don't see them being okay with him doing anything physical if he's doing this movie. I just don't
Right.
see. I don't see it.
Well, so
Um,
he might be there, which we'll talk about this a little bit, because we didn't really go into depth with it. But like, so Jacob and Solo had a face-off,
right.
and so maybe he's just coming in and he's going to do a mediator thing with those two because it looks like they were about to go at it. So maybe he comes in and kind of cools that down a little bit.
Maybe
But
that's possible.
yeah, I mean, there's no telling what it is. But yeah, I didn't remember it being a Scorsese movie, but I remember them saying like he would not be at Mania because there was a movie involved and he was going to be out. Um, so we'll see. But back to what we're talking about though, the if the righteous do show up, I think that's a great signing for them. And then to add to that, the NXT implications, because NXT has all these like factions and everything going on there. Them coming in
The
for that would be cool.
righteous, the righteous is who should have been part of Schism.
Okay.
Them
Yeah.
with Joe Gacy, and the way that Ava's character was at the time,
Yeah.
they'd have been perfect because they're both crazy.
They would have been perfect for that.
And the GYV had no business being in that That was terrible.
No, you completely changed their characters. You shaved that poor dude who like ended up just in like a skinny white thumb by the time they were done with him, and gave him that wonky eye, looking like a
It was
Wish.com
bad.
Kane.
It was so bad.
So it was weird. We found out that there was a little bit of internal frustration because of the women and how they're being booked right now. There's a lot of rumors going around that the women are not happy, which I don't blame them. You've got 2 brand new mid-card titles that have not really been defended.
I, of course, have opinions.
Well, yes, obviously. First,
You know how I feel about the women's divisions.
Mhm.
Go ahead and finish what you're saying.
I was just gonna say, so like, we have 2 brand new mid-card titles. Neither one of them's really been being defended. Rhea has kind of been there, but nothing about the title. She did miss, and I did see a note on this from Fightful. She did miss this last Monday because she was on her honeymoon. So congratulations. Glad y'all could get it in when you can get it in.
I'm assuming she was probably in Australia with him, which would have made sense. Yeah. His jacket was fire, by the way.
My only question is, though, can Buddy Matthews fight? Because
I'm not testing that theory. Have you seen that man?
Yes, I have.
That boy is chiseled.
I've seen all the allergic bee bumps he has all over his body. Looking like Arnold Schwarzenegger from Twins. Yet, no. Anyway, so yeah, obviously I knew you'd have your opinions on it. So go ahead. Here's your pulpit. Go for it.
Here's my soapbox. I mentioned it in the run-ins show. You brought in these 2 titles and have done absolutely zero with them.
Mm-hmm.
Chelsea winning was gorgeous. Well deserved. She earned that title.
Yeah.
They picked wrong by putting the title on Lyra. But you've done nothing with it, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And there's nothing they can. The women's problem is they're going to get shoehorned into crappy matches at Mania, and they have a right to be pissed about that.
Yeah. Well, and I want to add something to that, though. Just kind of because we were both watching the run in before we went live today, and they were talking about it. And it was one of those things. I wanted to say something, but it was way too much to type out, and it would have derailed their show, and I didn't want to do that. Sped had mentioned, they needed someone to make that title. I understand the premise of why Lyra got it. I understand the premise because you had Chelsea, who was a already valid, popular star.
Yes,
get
Chelsea
the title
was over like so nobody's business.
She's there to make the title mean something. On the flip side, they wanted the title to make the person something because they hadn't really done anything with Lyra. And so that was supposed to build her up. But like you said, you've done nothing with it, though. She's been in a qualifier match that she lost. And that's pretty much it. So you give her a title, you have her lose, and we pretend that she doesn't have the title for a little while. And now she's going to turn around and face the same person that she won it from in the first place, doing exactly what Chelsea did of her first defense was Mia Yim.
Yeah.
Who she just won it off of. Like,
here's the difference. I won't be surprised if Dakota wins.
It scares me if Dakota wins.
I agree. She is a injury magnet, unfortunately.
Yes. Well, and that's, to me, the only reason. There has been rumors, and Sped actually talked about it on their show, of that she was supposed to win in the first place. Something happened. I don't think it was an injury. I do remember them saying if you look at her after the loss, she just kind of rolls out and goes away. And so maybe something happened in a hiccup, but I don't
think this changed on the fly. I think she knew she was losing, and she was pissed about it.
Yeah.
And she had every right to be.
Mm-hmm.
Dakota is one of those that has pushed for these mid-card titles just like others have. Now, somebody said it on Twitter, and I don't remember who, so credit to whoever it was. The women's division has suffered since Becky left, and it's not just because of Becky the character, it's because of Becky the backstage politicker.
Yeah, because Becky was constantly pushing for the women to
Yeah.
get more.
We both know, I'm calling it now, Jade is showing up at the chamber and taking out whoever did it, because they're both in the chamber.
Yeah. If not both.
If not both. I 100% see them dropping those titles. But so you're putting Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez into a tag title match against whoever else. And then you're going to have Jade and whoever, probably Naomi, because I think Bianca's winning the chamber. So we're going to get Bianca Rhea, which will be amazing.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to 10 minutes tops. I'm calling it now. Maybe 15.
Well, and just to go with the correlation here of why I can understand some of the frustration, everything you just said leaves out two people that were poised to win the belts, and we just kind of forgot that they're contenders, and that was Lash and Jakara.
Yeah.
Now they're taking losses over on NXT when we just had them on the main roster kicking ass.
So NXT was a great show.
It was.
Don't get me wrong. The tag match was fantastic. And this is going to be a controversial opinion. I don't care about Zarya. I don't care. You've done nothing to make me care about you. You're Jordan Grace without a microphone skill. You're Rhea Ripley without the looks. Like, there's nothing Yes, you're impressive as fuck.
I was excited
100%.
as hell when she came in. And that's because I went back and watched her stuff. What she's doing now is not what she was doing then, and I don't care about this. You're pushing this odd couple tag team bullshit like you do every single time of, look, we have a monster that wears paint and a surfer. Let's stick them together. Hey, look, here's a weed addict and a legend who RKOs people out of their boots. Let's shove them together. Let's, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. And in this case, I just don't care.
You know what Zarya Sol Ruka is? Sting and the Ultimate Warrior when they were the Blade Runners back in Mid-South. Sting was the athletic one. Warrior was the power game. I don't remember what. I think his name was.
I thought you were pushing like the character that way, and
no, I'm just
like,
saying.
No, he was Surfer Sting later, but
these were two random people that got put together as a team. Now, granted, back then they killed. I don't care about this team. There's no reason they should have beat Lash and Jakara.
Yeah, they're not an
I'm
established
sorry. You should have put the titles on Lash and Jakara.
You still have vignettes that are showing them not on the same page yet.
Yeah.
There's no reason that they should have went over.
Here's what I would have done. Naomi, if I'm booking this with Lash and Jakara, they cost Naomi and Bianca their matches so that they don't get in the chamber. You have that tag title match at Elimination Chamber as you fucked us over, we're going to beat your ass. Jade gets involved. Lash and Jakara win the titles. I don't care if it's a cup of coffee. They've earned them.
I love it. I that's much better booking than what we got.
They've earned them. Even if you do this for 2 months, give them a Mania match. They absolutely deserve a Mania match. I don't care if they're the second match on the show, which is on the worst position to be. Jericho's talked about it. Mm-hmm. A bunch of people have talked about it. The second match is the worst position. I don't care if they have that match.
Yeah.
I don't care if they lose the titles there.
Yeah, I'm with you.
The booking of the women's division right now is garbage. NXT is doing pretty well.
Yeah.
Obviously, their women's division is better than their men's division right now. Obviously, when they lose Lash, Jakara, Julia, Stephanie, and Jordan, and Roxanne, they're kind of screwed. They're going to have the same lull they had when they lost the Horsewomen.
Yeah.
Because they lost the Horsewomen, Carmella, Alexa Bliss. They lost like 8 people within a span of like 2 months. But the way they're booking these women is beyond frustrating. And these women have a right to be upset. And I really hope they do something crazy to prove a point.
Yeah.
I'm not saying we need a Bianca Naomi walkout, or not a Bianca, Sasha Naomi type walkout, but do something just out of pocket.
Yeah.
Know you have 10 minutes and go 20.
Yeah. Because
Just
what are they
keep
going to
going.
do?
Right.
And if everybody's behind you, if everyone's doing it, you force that hand.
Go out there. Yeah. Do something.
So speaking of dumbass female booking, TJ Wilson talked about some stuff. He's a
Okay.
longtime respected booker, producer, excuse me, back in the day. He actually left ahead of the 2022 Rumble because he had some differences of opinion of how that Rumble should go. One of the wild things that Vince wanted Ronda Rousey to show up first and have her
I saw
dominate the
that.
entire thing.
Do you know how pissed I would have been?
Here's the thing, how boring that would have been. It's cool
We
for
did it
it's
with
cool for a
Brock.
small run. We did that with Stone Cold and him sitting up there and he's looking at his watch and all that for
Right.
like 4 or 5
But
people.
you fed him 4 jobbers.
Yeah.
We did it with Brock for like 10 people. And
Yeah.
by the time we got to the end of that, nobody fucking cared.
Yeah. He's also the reason we got some messy cameos in there. So like Summer Rae was there, Kelly was there, Molly Holly was there. And those are great that they were there, but they were all lasting under a minute. They went in there and went right back out. So then what was the point? There was no real thing to do there. They did reach out also at the time to Peyton Royce, Billie Kay, and Nia Jax, who all refused to participate in that Rumble.
Good for them.
You know, that was a dark time. I mean, at the end of it, Ronda Rousey still came in at 28th and still won the damn thing. Sasha apparently was supposed to be the runner-up of who they wanted to win that one. I would have much rather Sasha at that point had won.
Was that the walkout? Sasha and Naomi?
So I think they walked out shortly after that, if I remember correctly. It was shortly after that.
I thought it was before Mania because they were like, no, fuck this booking.
Well, no, that's what I'm talking about, between Rumble and the Mania. I think
it was the
Rumble happened,
gotcha.
and then shortly after that is when the walkout happened, if I remember correctly. Another bit of news that kind of popped up is there have been some rumors floating around about what happened with the whole Shane McMahon thing. Like he'd showed up, and they'd had a nice little talk, him and Tony, with other people, according to what that picture showed, because it showed like 4 coffee cups, unless they were mainlining coffee, apparently. What's up?
May 24th was the Sasha Naomi walkout.
Okay.
So it was after Mania.
After Mania. Yeah, that would be right, because didn't they win the tag titles at Mania?
I think so.
And so then they would have had it for a couple of months.
They won the tag titles at Mania, and then they kept getting booked in singles matches and shit that didn't matter.
Yeah.
And they're both like, this is stupid, because it was stupid.
Yeah. So Jonathan Coachman had claimed that Shane McMahon had asked for equity in AEW and wanted to run the whole show. And so after that, Tony apparently had ghosted him. Didn't respond, didn't counter.
I should hope so.
Yeah.
I'm off. Look, you want equity? Cool. You want 10%, whatever. Run the show?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. You have about it.
Yeah, that thing.
That is so ridiculous.
Like, here's the thing. So, with the story that we were telling at the time, and we'll get more into this. I think I've bent Big Mike's ear enough that we might get a special episode crossover with us and them once the Death Riders thing is done, to rebook that whole thing, because it's just a mess. But that particular moment, I do believe he was supposed to come in as like the higher power, whoever it was that Mox kept talking about.
I agree.
Now, if I'm Shane, give me Rampage or give me Collision and let me run that show. because then that helps with the idea of I'm coming in here, I'm taking over things. So instead of shutting down Rampage, you have him and shut down the truck, spin up another truck that has all your logos and all your stuff and like a separate brand completely to run that show now. And run that show. Okay. But no, Dynamite, their flagship show, the whole thing. No. That storyline, that show, okay. Go have that. Go. That's your sandbox. Play with that.
The level of arrogance involved with I want equity and to run the show is crazy.
But however, though, that is McMahon level of grapefruits.
Oh, 1,000%.
He went in there and went, I'm going to run the whole damn thing. It's all me. That's rough. That's really rough. There have been some questions about Britt Baker's status. Main question is she done with AEW? No, she's still part of the roster. She's still there. She's been taking some time off. She's been working on Cobra Kai because she was on that show. She had a couple
what?
Yeah, she was working on Cobra Kai.
I finished that. Where was she in the show?
I don't think she was a big part or anything. I think she was just there, like an extra or behind the scenes. I remember hearing something about she was going to be there.
Okay.
But if people knew what she's dealt with outside the ring, then they'd respect how she's been managing things over the last few years, because apparently she's also been going through some hardships, which we know about some of it, because it was the whole thing with her and Adam. We don't know what happened behind the scenes with those two, but obviously you went from this dude that moved to Florida with you into a house with you, and then within a year or two of him being in the company, you two are splitting. There's got to be something going on that we don't know about.
And it's none of our business.
It isn't. It is none of our business. So she could possibly come back. She could possibly have a storyline in a comeback. We don't know, but she's still part of the company currently. And from everything that I'm seeing and everything that Fightful's heard, still in decent standing. So we shall see what that does.
Couldn't happen to a nicer person. Tessa Blanchard got some She's a Racist chant again. Couldn't happen to a nicer person.
Oh.
Could not happen to a nicer person.
Yeah. I have things, but I'm not going to say them. Just going to leave that for off the podcast.
So for anybody that may be watching, the thing at the bottom here, we weren't sure we were doing this tonight, so that's why it wasn't updated there. So I just noticed it.
Here, thank you for telling me, actually, because I can fix that real quick. NXT. We can go ahead and start talking about that though while I do that. So NXT, we started off with a very interesting confrontation. You want to talk about it?
Yes. On a random note, he who we do not mention, his entrance music was performed by Our Lady Peace. They did the song at a show in Canada. It's been 22 years.
Holy crap.
That song was associated. Everybody knew who it was.
Yeah.
Anybody that knew that song knew it was that person's theme music.
Yeah.
Wow. The opening of NXT. We get Oba in the ring. He is big salty. Basically feels disrespected because he got jumped by those four guys, and I'm still not sure if it's like we're rebuilding aces and eights. I don't know what's happening.
There's rumor that Trick's over that group. And if that's the case, I'm down.
If you do this with Trick and it gives him kind of a heelish turn. So Moose is out there. Or not Moose. Oba's out there. He's like, come get it. And the lights drop, and Moose, the TNA X Division champion, shows up. We discussed this Tuesday night once we saw it happen. I don't dislike Moose. I don't dislike him. I don't have an issue with the character. I don't care about him.
Yep.
Nothing in his entire TNA tenure, and I used to watch it all the time. I don't care. And so, yes, big meaty men slapping meat when these two go. And next week we get Lexis King and Moose.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, if you put, I'm perfectly fine putting the X Division title on Lexis King.
Yeah.
If you put the Heritage Cup with Moose, that's the worst idea ever.
I don't know.
It doesn't. Here's the thing. Every Heritage Cup title change has enhanced the Heritage Cup.
Mm-hmm.
Putting it on Moose does not do that.
I don't think it does it on NXT.
I don't think it does on TNA.
Or sorry,
First of all, the
TNA is what I
NXT
meant.
crowd-
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't do anything on TNA. I don't think it does anything on NXT either. That's the problem. But if you put the X Division title on Brian Pillman Jr. and you send him over to TNA, that's going to cause some reactions.
Mm-hmm.
And I understand he's Lexis King, but he's Brian Pillman Jr.
Yeah.
Well,
and he's owned up to like my father's, like he's owning up to that now.
Yeah. Yeah.
They tried to keep him completely away from it before, but he's at least referencing now it's his dad. I
was a huge Brian Pillman fan.
Yeah.
The Cincinnati tights when he wrestled, the Blondes, him and the Hart family. I loved Brian Pillman. Brian Pillman. He was amazing. Hold on.
You forgot his best iteration when it was him and the Z-Man as a tag team. Don't disrespect Zink. Zink was amazing.
We're disrespecting Tom Zink because that dude was trash.
He wasn't. He just had no personality.
Brian Pillman's back hurt from carrying that shit.
He was the Genetti, I'll give you that. Without all the weird 100%. Daughter stuff.
It's one of those things. The crowd knew, some of them knew who Moose was.
Yeah.
Some of them. I will say TNA filming at Full Sail is good for them.
Yes. Because
you're going to get those NXT fans that's going to make your crowd more alive.
Yeah.
It's one of those things that I don't see in any way that this helps Moose. I don't think it helps. It helps Oba because Moose is an established name. Because there's no chance Oba's losing to Moose.
So I will disagree on one case and one case only. I too do not hate Moose, but I put Moose in the same category as Thorpe. I don't get it. I don't get the gimmick. I don't get the person. Yeah, when he's wrestling, he's good. I just don't get it. I think bringing him to a bigger audience and putting him up against someone who is a stature he's not used to fighting, because the things that I've seen him with is he's been fighting dudes smaller than him. Having him go against Oba, that might get to show a different side of him. And so we'll see how that works. So I think it's going to do something for Moose. I do agree with you on one thing, just by the way you said it, I assume we're on the same page with it, is some people knew who Moose was. I love a surprise. I do. But without some sort of package, half that crowd had no idea who this was. So maybe it should have been a different person to surprise, or maybe it should have been a surprise package and him saying he's coming. And that way, like, we still get the surprise, but then a little bit of a package to explain who the hell this is. That way everybody's on the same page.
What I would have done, so apparently we're fantasy booking tonight.
Why not?
I'd have run JDC out there to Oba and been like, I just want you to know it's not me you have to worry about. it's the X Division champ Moose. And then a video package plays for Moose. And when it's over, JDC says, you don't know when, you don't know where, but he's going to find you. Or something to make it interesting.
Hold on. As usual, I'm going to take your booking and I'm going to spin it a little bit. Santino's already there. Because he's doing the thing backstage. Have him come out. You know, hey, Obama, or whatever weird name he's going to call him, because he's not going to call him the right name.
Oh my God, that would have been so good.
I have someone coming next week to talk to you and, like, beef up Moose of he's my X Division champ, he's been nonstop, he needs someone big and rough and tough, and the first deal that I've made with Ava tonight is you and him.
I bet you money if they have Santino do it, he calls him Obama.
Oh,
and that shit'll be great.
The weird thing is Santino and R-Truth, both of them, right? They can get away with some shit that nobody else could say. Because anybody else comes out there and calls Obama, canceled immediately. But if Santino goes out there, Obama, nice to meet you.
Obama family, yes.
That'd be great. Anyway, which
Obama
I just
schema would have been hilarious.
I did see that Oba did show up tonight on TNA Impact, which he said on NXT at the end of the night. He did do a little thing where he was getting his car and he's like, "All right, so Moose showed up at my house. Apparently, I need to show up at his." So teeing up that he was going to show up. So he did show up. I haven't seen how that went over. I'm sure it went over huge though. So Karma Petrovic wins the #1 contender match for the NXT Women's North American Championship in the strangest way.
Okay. I have to give them credit because that was creative as fuck.
It was, but she won because Jada Parker was mid-emote. She had pressed down on the keypad in Fortnite. She was doing her little dance.
Have you never been sniped? Have you never been sniped doing that in front of somebody you just fucking killed?
That's exactly.
Has that never happened to you?
Shit, man. It was crazy.
Okay.
I'm just looking at it like she's still dancing. What the? But it kind of goes to what we were talking about at the last episode. Stop dancing. Jada Parker, you're supposed to be a badass. Stop dancing.
I get it. The high step, and I 100% get it. She went to an HBCU. I love it. I'm here for it. But, ma'am, this is a triple threat match.
Well, not only that,
it's the two of you.
but she had started the emote, and the pin hadn't happened yet. Petrovic scrambles in there, rolls her up real quick. It does not take that long to high step. That had to be the longest high step in wrestling history.
Well, the problem is, she started when she finishes the high step. She started taunting and interacting with the crowd.
Yeah.
Like I said, it was creative as hell. I'm 100% here for that. I'm fine with it because there's not a chance in hell Carmen's winning this match.
No.
And for Kaylani or Jada to take that L hurts them. It doesn't hurt Carmen.
No.
Especially if, like, Nikita Lyons costs her the match. Somebody comes out and costs her the match.
Yeah.
Somebody comes out and talks to, Adonis, something.
Yeah. So, after the match, Parker and Jordan brawl a bit. Yeah, we had talked about that at the beginning of the show, Chris. Absolutely. Kind of odd that they showed up. Him doing those vignettes and everything with the Righteous, and then turn around and sign him with TNA. But so Parker and Jordan brawl, which I find that weird that Parker and Jordan brawled. I know they have a thing. I know that, but I'm just saying, not
It's
Kalani,
it's
excuse
not
me.
just that. It's they're switching in places,
Yeah.
and I'm good with it.
Yeah.
Jada Parker is a face. She needs a better finish. I mean, granted, please, but she
I
needs a
mean, I'd
better
take it.
finish, right? Same. It's like that whole thing with Rhea and Nia Jackson. Yeah, 100%. Um, um, sorry, I just saw something news that's not wrestling related. I'm just not going to say anything.
Okay.
Um, I'm good with the switch. Kaylani as a heel is fantastic. She's so good in this role. Like you can tell that her and Mello are are definitely he's they're working together on this.
Yeah.
I didn't even notice you would change that banner. Well done.
I don't know how you didn't notice it. It was clunky as shit, me pulling things around.
I wasn't paying attention. I was probably ranting about the women's division.
Probably.
Carmen's not winning. Stephanie still doesn't have a real challenger. Jada Kaylani is going to be fire when it happens.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're off and running to whatever's next for them. Stand and deliver?
Yes. Don't quote me on that, but yes, I think so.
That's why I'm looking. Roadblock, March 11th.
Okay.
But that's just a Tuesday night. That's not a PLE thing. Stand and deliver is the 19th. But that'll be during the day. That's going to be a long ass day. Fuck.
Yeah, it is.
But it is what it is. Carmen's getting better. You can see it. That test room is popping up on the actual stream. I
Yeah,
don't
I
know
know.
if you know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was trying to
Just
get
make
the
sure you
thing
know.
to work, and it's not working. But
Okay. Just make sure you know.
yep.
Julia, hang on. Chris said Julia, Becky Lynch, Stephanie, and Jordan.
Yeah, give me that.
The license, that is a license to print money.
Yeah, for sure. But so yeah, so we had the Parker Jordan brawl. Fatal Influence attacked Petrovic, and then Jordan Grace.
Which we go to commercial. We come back to Stephanie and Julia fighting Fatal Influence. Where the fuck did Carmen go?
She left.
She was like, big deuces, I'm out.
Yeah, she was like,
and
peace,
then, of
I'm
course,
done.
we got the debut of Jordan Grace, which the Juggernaut. I love that they're keeping the Juggernaut, that she's still Jordan Grace. This is one of those why I don't understand Ricky Starks changing his name. Jordan Grace is a prime example. She's still Jordan Grace. Why are we not still Ricky Starks?
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
I just.
But then again, so he did, just to kind of touch on that a little bit. He did the After Dark deal with Bubba Ray. And
Okay.
he kind of spun it as if he's the one who came up with the suggestion. So I wonder if he just didn't want to sign over his name, which, I mean, rightfully so. If you don't want to sign over your name for wrestling stuff just in case something happens, to me, that's a smart move. So
yeah.
And he mentioned how it is because he's from New Orleans. That's why he did pick the Saints. He wanted something with home to represent with him.
Well, and if he leaves, he's Ricky Starks, and everybody still knows who the fuck he is.
Yeah. But yeah, it's interesting with what's going on there. Ricky Starks is too similar to Zoe Stark. I mean, that's that's also a good point too.
That's
That could have
that's fair too. I saw that.
yeah, that could be why we went that route.
That's fair too.
So then the tag team match that we talked about, which was a good tag team match. I don't want to disparage the match, but it was the Meta Girls versus Sol Ruca and Zarya. Sol Ruca and Zarya come away with the win. I don't agree with that booking in the least. I think we've already beat that horse to death, though. So we're going to go ahead and...
Well, and Sol Ruca needs a new finisher, too. The Soul Snatcher's pretty, but you need something else you can hit at any time from anywhere, and that's not it.
Yeah, I think the difference between new and needs an additional. She needs something else that she can do.
Yeah.
Because she can't hit the Soul Snatcher everywhere, every time.
Right.
If like Underground's becoming a big thing now, what happens when you get in an Underground match?
Yeah.
How you doing that? But yeah, so I did see a tweet that had popped up. Someone had asked about something that I'm really against. They asked, should NXT bring up their own women's titles, tag titles? No. We're already in title fatigue at the moment, and they haven't done anything with the women's tag titles as it is. They're holed up until we finish this Jade storyline.
I can see the appeal to women's tag titles in NXT.
Mm-hmm.
They should have never combined them to begin with, but that's a whole different conversation.
Yeah, that's neither here nor there.
No, I don't think we need them. I don't. If you're gonna do this, if you want the women NXT to have the tag titles, just put the women's tag titles down there for a little bit.
Yeah.
Which you could 100%, you could put those things down there for a year, and it's not going to diminish them at all.
Well, and that's one of those titles, like, have it be wherever it needs to be. Have a storyline on NXT one quarter, have that storyline move over to SmackDown the next quarter, onto Raw the quarter after that. Have it bounce around so we get to see the titles more. Because you have situations like we watch everything because we do this. But there are people out there that they don't have off-air antennas, so they can't watch SmackDown. Or not Smack. Is it Smack? Yeah, SmackDown's no, they're on USA now. So they don't have cable, so they can't watch the USA. Don't have Netflix, so can't watch Raw. There's situations where people can't watch it all. Have that bounce around so we get to see those titles, more often. Especially since it's not tied to a place. Now, me personally, I think it should have been tied to a place. I don't think we should have got 2 mid-card belts, but that's me. We get 1 belt, put it on Raw or SmackDown, and put the tag belts on the other. And to me, that works. And then, yeah, NXT have their own little tag division. But, so Ricky Starks then comes out, or who we find out later is going to be Ricky Saints. He comes out. You had issue with his theme music.
That theme, okay. Here's the problem. The Revolution is gonna be televised, and then that music was chef's kiss perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Def Rebels has done it again and fucked this up.
Well, the good news is he'll have new theme music in like 2 months when they fire them. So
I hope so.
Yeah, it wasn't their best. Unfortunately, you would have thought, like, I'm old school, so of course I'm always going to bring up Jim Johnson. He's one of those you would walk in there and say, I need something that sounds like this. And he would make something that sounds similar to that vein of what you thought it should sound like. We've heard that story with, I want to say Mark Henry had said it before, of like he walked in there with like a couple ideas. The Rock had walked in there with a couple ideas. Agreed, Chris. Absolutely agreed. Thankfully, they'll be gone. But like of ideas of like, and I think Jericho was the most recent one because he talked about like the walls, break the walls down, and how iconic that was, and Judas, and how iconic that is. And so he mentioned it. He was like, "Yeah, I walked in there with Jim Johnson, and I was like, hey, I want it to sound like this with a feel like this." He's like, and then he like, you know, blurped out, break the walls down, and that was amazing because it was something that fit the character. It's something that they wanted. When we've already heard that apparently the current wrestlers don't get that input. They don't get to walk in there to Def Rebel and be like, "Hey, I would like something that feels like this." They just kind of make a thing and go, "Here you go."
The number of reports I've seen of people going, "Can I have my old music back?"
Oh,
is crazy.
AJ coming back, and he was like, I want my old shit. I'm not coming back to that new thing." Which, first of all,
His old
lazy.
music is fire.
Lazy. Because his new music that he had was the old music, but slowed down and tried to make it like a trap beat type of thing. Like, if you're gonna give him new music, give him new music. Don't do whatever the hell that is.
We did it with Shinsuke, and it works perfectly.
Yes.
But AJ's theme and Shinsuke's theme are two very different ball games.
Yeah. Side note, Shinsuke with lyrics to me, prime Shinsuke. That's my favorite of his, is the one with the lyrics. But yeah, and his made sense just because like he's doing this kind of like samurai warrior gimmick now. And so them slowing it down, making it more of like the violins and the instrumental makes all the sense in the world. But I have a sinking sensation that wasn't their choice, because Def Rebel probably would have had him say like Shinsuke in the beginning of it, and then they come out to some weird rap.
I'm okay with Chelsea Green. It makes sense.
Yeah, especially
the way that her
with
music starts.
Sam leaving, it makes perfect sense to have it thrown in there.
If they had gotten Sam's voice for that, that would have been fire.
That would have been. Chris asked a question in chat here. Do you believe the card that Gable was given was a hint to Aleister Black becoming his guide? If it's not, they are pushing that way too damn hard, because I'm talking about dark arts and all.
You better have a real good fucking option if it's not him.
You know what should have happened? And from what I've heard, in the rumor mill, is that apparently Chad, when he was away, was supposed to do some stuff in AAA, and then something fell through and he couldn't do it. I was hoping he would go to AAA, and the guide he's supposed to get was La Parka, because I think that would be hilarious. That the master of Lucha Dark Arts is La Parka.
That would have been amazing. That would have been amazing. You know what else I'd be fine with? And I don't know how you would do it considering where everybody's at and so on, but somebody that wasn't a luchador but was part of Lucha Underground.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know who would be a good option for that.
Oh, hold on. I forget his name, but the owner.
Yes.
That'd be cool.
That guy. Yes.
That would have been awesome. Side note, so I read this shortly after we got off the street, or the next day, excuse me. So I say shortly after, it was the next day. Apparently, there's a rumor going around that Tony has bought Lucha Underground. And if that's the case, I'll let a lot of stuff go. Jeff Cobb would be good. Absolutely.
Dario Cueto. That's his name.
Yeah, Dario Cueto. Yeah. Thank you for that.
He's running MLW?
Oh, that's even better. If they could do a thing with MLW, because they're already trying to do this like little brand stuff with every, like that would make perfect sense. But anyway, have them spark a deal with MLW and have him show up as the that'd be great. Anyway, yeah. So that'd be kind of cool though if he brings back Lucha Underground, because I'd be down for that. But anyway, so we got off track here. So NXT, Starks declares himself the man in NXT, and then he gets interrupted from Ethan Page, who claims Stark has been stealing his playbook of coming over and trying to make a big name in NXT. Javon Evans attacks Paige. Keep that feud going.
I am loving that feud.
It's awesome. The fact that they're keeping it going, because that was, to me, the litmus test of what happened at the pay-per-view was what happens on NXT the next day. Because Javon should have won that if it's over. And so I was worried, did we just book this over? And Javon's going to have to go through this weird, like, I got to build myself back up shit. Him attacking Ethan Page, making it not over yet, perfect. And then what we find out later, we'll talk about what's going to happen the week after, next week, is really cool because it gets Ricky in a very big spotlight where he needs to be right now to get everybody to know who he is and see what he's all about. And being in there in the ring with who he's going to be in the ring with is going to do that because there's so many different styles in that ring at that moment for him to play with. But so anyway, so that attack happens. Then Wesley comes out to interrupt Stark. So apparently we just can't get a contract signed because
did you see the backstage segment to set this up?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. We'll get to that because that was end of the night. So we'll get to that.
Well, no. The backstage segment before Ricky came out.
Oh no! Apparently I did not.
So Sarah is Sarah the backstage person?
I think so. I think that's the name.
She's talking to Wesley. Ricky comes walking through and she's like, oh, hang on, I'll be right back, and goes to talk to Ricky. Well, behind her, you see Wesley losing his shit.
Oh, okay.
So it was set up perfectly.
So then presumably he's losing his shit back there because he found out about Ricky coming in to do the signing.
Well, he saw it was the disrespect of, I was doing an interview and you think you can just walk in and take my interview?
Yeah.
That was what it was, and I was like, that's so fucking good.
So Wesley comes in there. Starks and Lee have some back and forth. Starks finally signs the contract and then signs it Ricky Saints. They make sure to pan in really big on the name so we can see what the name's going to be, which then does lead to the point of why we didn't see the name. I do kind of wonder because the reports that I've seen on Fightful have been that a lot of their stuff came kind of last minute because of how quick that happened. Because they said, there's no time between you being able to sign somewhere else. We're not going to put that 60 or 90 day in there. You can go wherever you want to go. Them saying that and then him showing up almost 24 hours later. Obviously, that was a quick thing. I wonder if they didn't know what his name was going to be when he first showed up.
That's possible.
And just, we're going to keep it quiet. We're going to not say anything. We're just going to leave it alone. And then by then, why not just wait until the signing? Because that's a good little meme spot to throw that in there. So we're apparently going to get Page versus Evans at some point, though. We're also going to get Lee versus Evans at some point, though. But we find out later where we're going to start on that. No Quarter Catch Crew has a little backstage thing with Fraxium. But they're not challenging Fraxium for a tag title match. They said they want to face the Hardys, which the Hardys later in a vignette say that they accept. What do you think of that? What do you think of them bypassing Fraxium?
This is setting up Fraxium and the Hardys.
Yeah. Well, because the Hardys even said, hey, if you guys want to go ahead and set a couple chairs out there and watch us do it.
I love the Hardys. Always have. We've talked about them for years. Everything that Matt went through with Edge, Jeff's problems, we've talked. Go away. We're at go away time. This is gonna be one of those pass to the torch type matches, which is fine. This may also be the Hardy induction to the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
I don't want this to be a title for title, winner take all. No. Keep those titles away from each other.
So I don't want them to do that just for the simple fact that I don't want Fraxium to go longer than they have to now, because we've been teasing a breakup with them for like 135 years. Like, it's been crazy how long we've been teasing that they're going to break up. If we give them TNA titles too, and now they're going back and forth to NXT and TNA, I also don't want the Hardys to get it. I agree, Chris. I'm sure Tori does too. Chris says, I do not believe it is good for Jeff to come back to the WWE. His problems always kind of come back when he comes back there. That's a good point, because you get there back on the road and on that long schedule of never being home and all that. Temptation's there. Coming from a alcoholic himself, like, I stay away from the things that triggered me. And so it does seem to be that every time he comes back to WWE, shit goes down. But you could say the same thing with TNA, though. And so, like, hopefully he's gotten past his demons. Hopefully, the idea of his age and wisdom have finally caught up to him on that. He'll be fine coming back in, because obviously that's where we're headed, right? The Hardys at some point are going to end up back in WWE. They're going to end up in the WWE Hall of Fame. They were one of the only, if you think about it, one of the only homegrown WWE talents that made it from beginning to end. They started as underage kids who signed contracts illegally to be extras against Razor Ramon and Diesel, to being
I 100%
however many time tag champs.
Right, 827. If they have as many titles as Chrissy has kids. Wow.
She doesn't watch us. It's okay.
Oh no, she's in on the joke at this point too. She thinks it's funny. So one match, one official WWE match, and they're done. I appreciate you so much.
Is that our mascot?
Yeah, it's our mascot. She brought me food.
Hey, Gremlin.
Like I said, hey, Gremlin.
Hello.
So chilly up there, huh?
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I mean, I don't want them to have a long run. Jeff hurts me. Jeff hurts me. Like, just watching him in the ring.
Jeff's gonna hurt himself.
No, here's the thing. I think that man, and that may be why he has so many problems, I think that man made a deal with the devil at some point that he will never be hurt. Okay. Because the shit that he's done, and he's still walking, is amazing. I remember in TNA, him doing a fall off the corner of a cage onto steps in the most awkward shit angle I have ever seen. And the next day he was like, yeah, I'm fine. I'm good. The shit.
I remember that.
I would have broke my entire body taking half that bump. That's a good question too, where Hammerstone, like I catch TNA a little here and here, a little there. But yeah, he was like a big thing for a minute. And then he's just kind of not talked about. Gone.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. I don't know if it was an injury or.
But yeah, so we're gonna get No Quarter Catch Crew next week against the Hardys, which will be fun. For No Quarter Catch Crew, I'm sure that they're excited to be in there with the Hardys. The fact that we're gonna get Hardys versus against Fraxium at some point, I'm sure Fraxium is ecstatic that that's gonna happen. So as much as I can say, I hope they're done. I understand as the performer going, I want to match with them before they go. I understand that.
Well, and I can't even imagine how that would feel. Having watched them for as long as they've been doing this, we're going to put you in a match with them. I'm sorry, what?
Yeah. It's crazy. But it'll be a fun little thing. And yeah, we kind of get the tease of Jordan Grace and those other two working together with her. That'd be kind of fun, kind of a 3-woman power trip kind of situation. That'll be fun.
What's up, Mike?
You're right on time, Big Mike. You always watch us on VOD anyway, so new stuff we already been through. Talked about some new stuff that you guys didn't talk about. Talked about one thing that you guys did. We disagree with Sped. Big surprise. But welcome to the stream. So just kind of run through AEW here a little bit. You get MJF and Hangman doing a face off.
That promo was amazing.
It was. I am glad to see we're slowly getting Hangman back to what he was originally. This little side quest he got of being some weird psychopath that had a hard on for Swerve. Got some great matches out of it, but
yeah, we did.
Like, what do you do with it after it's done? So them doing this kind of thing where Chris Daniels is dragging him back to be himself again, to get past all that. I do kind of like the fact, though, that they did reference something. MJF is always good about pointing out the pulling out the right stuff that makes you kind of think about pro wrestling as, oh, this really is kind of screwed up. Because he goes, look, you jabbed a needle through a dude's face. You burnt a man's childhood home down, and these people still cheer for you. It's like, holy shit, you're right. Hold on. Hold on.
He's not wrong.
You're not wrong.
Look, MJF and the New Day, they're not wrong.
Right. The New Day's right. We support the New Day on this podcast.
That's right.
It was an awesome segment between them. Couldn't have asked for it to be any better. I'm glad we got no real interruption in it. The spit at the end, since it's not technically them, touching each other, was kind of cool.
I like that they pointed out it's not physical contact.
Right. Chris, I think that'd be a good thing too. I don't know what's going on with Keith Lee. I have kept I do Fightful Select, $5 a month. You can see all their cool stuff, being part of their Patreon, or you can just watch here for free, whichever you want to do, because we just report their news. But yeah, I've seen nothing on him. On, is he healthy? Is he still sick? What's going on? I did see that he showed up backstage. I think it was last week. So maybe we're teasing him coming back. Him coming back to side with Ricochet could be fun. But then who do we put with Swerve then to kind of counteract that? That's a whole fantasy book thing that we could go down. But yeah, him coming back in general. I'm a huge Keith Lee fan. Neither company has really known what to do with him. The closest that they got was they had that Survivor Series match where he and Roman were the last two, and he came that close to beating Roman. Like, that was the closest we got to how they should be booking Keith Lee.
I disagree.
Really?
His NXT run.
Well, that was part of that, though, is what I'm saying. Like, the buildup of him in NXT led to him on that Survivor Series team.
Him and Dijak.
Oh, those matches.
Their feud was amazing.
Yeah. Dijak's another one. I don't understand how they let that go. But MJF reminded the crowd of all his accolades: the longest reigning AEW champ, main eventing the biggest shows ever at Wembley. Hangman then, Gunther did he did kind of get buried in that match, unfortunately. Can't get someone over without breaking a couple eggs, barely. Hangman acknowledged MJF's success, but points out his unhappiness, which apparently hit a nerve for MJF. So apparently that was a little bit of truth to his character that he didn't want to be heard is that he's still unhappy. That's kind of an interesting thing that he retorted back at that real quick. But so yeah, the final exchange was he basically says like, what are you gonna do? Can I help you? Yeah. What are you gonna do against me with me being such a top guy? And then the final word from Paige is basically just saying the difference between you and me is I'm real. He gets spit in the face. We start to have a little bit of a pull apart. Hangman beats the living dog shit out of the AEW security guards. It's an interesting choice that he got that AEW tattoo, Chris. I'll give you that. That Double or Nothing tattoo. Was it Double or Nothing? Yeah, tattoo that MJF got. It was an interesting choice. And wasn't drawn very good. Like, so I don't know what artist he got for that.
Have we seen it again since then?
I haven't seen it, no. Do you think it wasn't real? It could be. Very well could be.
There is not a chance that this man put that tattoo on his leg, knowing full well the minute he gets an offer he likes, he's bouncing. There's not a fucking chance he put that tattoo on his leg.
That's a good point. We'll just have to wait and see for the I don't know, AEW swimsuit edition, I guess. I don't know. Kevin Dunn drew the tattoo with his teeth. Good Lord, Chris. Woo. That's the kind of vitriol we like here. Anyway,
because fuck Kevin Dunn.
In the midst of the security guards or AEW future hopefuls getting tossed around by Hangman Page, Chris Daniels comes out, almost gets hit, but has a moment with Hangman of like, this is what I was fighting for. This is what I was doing this for. I know who you are. You know who you are. So
the way they have used Chris Daniels to further this Hangman storyline is amazing.
Yeah.
This absolutely. Is good writing. This is good writing, good booking.
Well, and it's what a good end of an era story should be, of what happens to that person now that it's done. Because now that he can't get in the ring anymore, what do we do? But it's good working for that. After that, we get the Ops, which was the name that we found out last week. Love the team. It's a cool little team. Samoa Joe, Hook, Shibata, dominating MMA style type people. They're facing the Patriarch, which I still don't understand.
Mike and Spetta were talking about this, and they're not wrong. Why is this happening?
Yeah, I'm sure eventually we're gonna get back around to the fact that the Learning Tree is the ones who took out Samoa Joe. I'm pretty sure we're gonna get back there at some point. The thing that I don't understand is why was that not the first stop? Because you got 3 people over there, you got 3 people on Ops. Just makes perfect sense that we start with the people that took you out. That should have been the first stop. And then he can go after the Patriarchy and do this whole thing. But there was really no reason why he's going after Christian and his group. There's no real beef there. Unless he's trying to get that contract. So he can go after the ROH title, maybe? But even then, why are we not saying that? Why are we not talking about that?
Right.
I mean, if he's going after the Wish.com Money in the Bank, then he should be saying he's going after the Wish.com Money in the Bank.
Temu version.
Stupid clipboard. But this ends with Hook locking in Red Rum to get the win over Nick Wayne. First of all, Mother Wayne, Jesus Christ. Whew. I agree, Big Mike. Absolutely. Like, they threw him through a wall. Now, it was a sheetrock wall, but still, like, why wasn't that the first stop? Stop there first, then go back and do the stuff. Chris, this is actually the first time that you've said something that I don't agree with. I think the music for Joe is perfect. It's almost playing off his NXT music, WWE music that he had.
I can't even read Tucker's name without hearing Otis call him Tucky in my head.
There was a news spot done on him.
He's a wrestling coach.
Yeah, it all happened because they didn't know. They didn't know that he was Tucky. Like, that's awesome. I want to know who was the first student. Like, who was the student that found out? Like, watched some old NXT tape and was like, is that Mr. Tucker? And then show up the next day, Tucker!
You do that entirely too well.
It's one of my many talents. But anyway, here's the thing. Like, I feel bad. We've shit on the reason for this match. It was a decent match. Like, everybody in the ring is great. There was some wonderful chain wrestling between Kip and Shibata. That was really good. I love seeing that kind of stuff. Samoa Joe did a tope suicida, which seeing a dude that big do that is just crazy. I was kind of expecting Christian to do the Joe Nope spot, just because it would have made sense. But whatever. Would have ran for hours, absolutely. Some kid come in and call me Tucky. Laps now.
Just run. When am I stopping?
When I say so.
Your feet fall off.
We had a little set backstage for Chris Jericho, talking about Bandito. Here's the thing. I give Jericho a lot of shit about this whole learning tree and high guys and all this stuff. This is the best Jericho I have seen in years as far as on the mic. I'm still probably not going to be impressed when he gets back in the ring, but as far as his promo is concerned, this gave me flashbacks to old Jericho. Because he was serious, he was to the point, he tore up the stupid wanted poster with the the money on it, the bounty, because that didn't matter. It was just a stupid gimmick. He just wants to go and beat Bandito's ass. So great, let's do that.
Hey, let's not spoil this like Mike did.
Wow, Nation of Violence. Good call, Chris. So Nation of Violence, that was Joe's thing in NXT when Christian was there. So Christian's little group was him, AJ, and Tyson Tomko. And Tyson Tomko got, I think it was Tyson, got kidnapped by a dude in a mask. We find out later it's Samoa Joe. And Samoa Joe's completely changed his look. He's got this tattoo on the side of his face. He's got big Islander shorts on.
Okay.
And the whole thing was he was carrying around this machete, and he was the Nation of Violence, is what he called himself. It was
this in TNA?
Yeah, it was TNA.
Okay.
It was the second time Christian came back, I think. But yeah, that's a good call. Nation of Violence Mojo was pretty good. They had some winners over there. But yeah, so he does that promo, and I like it. I like that we're getting a little more serious with him. I appreciate that. On to a Big E special. We had Powerhouse Hobbs versus Big Bill. So 2 meaty men slapping meat. It was.
I don't want your 5-star matches. Bump that.
I like the fact that he couldn't even get it out. Like, to this day, I still watch it every once in a while because he could not get it out.
You sent it to me the
I
other day,
know.
and I was crying because it's
It took
still
him
so
5
perfect.
minutes to say one sentence because he just could not get it out. Hobbs looked like a monster in this match. Big Bill did good, but I mean, Big Bill took a lot of beating in this, including being hit in the head with the backpack that we're supposed to presume had the bricks in it that took Hobbs out in the first place. So good that he got that, and good to see Hobbs get a good finish. Like, this man seemed to keep falling through the cracks when it comes to getting some sort of push. And so him going this hard over Bill, I hope that means that we're going to finally go in the right direction of getting him, at least in the mid-card title scene somewhere. That leads us to the promo that you asked me if I'd seen yet. And oh my God, this was beautiful. Timeless Tony Storm with a theatrical promo. I can't even do it justice. So I want you to talk about this.
Okay, before I do,
Mhm.
Big Mike's comment on what they should have done with the Bandito thing is perfect.
Oh, did I miss one? Hold on. In hindsight, when you offer the... Yeah. Absolutely.
Okay. So the Timeless One comes out, and
Hold on.
does a promo.
Before you get too far into it, Big Mike also said, shame on AEW for the replay camera showing an angle where Big Bill was wrapping himself in the barbed wire. Yeah. That's...
Their camera angles is a huge problem for them.
Yeah, we talked about it at the last episode too, because we were talking about how like their hits don't look strong, and I think a lot of that has to do with the camera angles because they keep showing angles where it's like you're not exactly connecting, and then you have to hear them say that stupid line of "You didn't get it all." He didn't get it at all.
Right. Obviously. Thanks.
Anyway, go ahead.
So Tony comes out, true timeless Tony fashion, and she has no fucks to give, and her promos are unfucking hinged. And I love every second of it.
Mm-hmm.
She comes out and talks about them going back and forth, and I beat you with my small package. And then she starts talking about how it's actually a big package and how Mariah took it all. And I'm just like, are we doing wrestling or porn?
Little of both.
Right? I
Agreed, Big Mike.
crying.
Promo of the year already.
Yes. Her mic game has gotten so much better since she left WWE.
Mm-hmm. Well, and
you can tell she has worked her ass off on her promos.
The idea of if you want to go face to face, tit to tit, or lips for lips, like what the shit? What are we doing?
I can't with this.
And then her slipping back in from time to time, whether it's Chris Statlander or Wendy Richter.
The lines, the whore we all adore, the slut we can't rebut, the tramp who is the champ.
Yeah. She's so good.
Yes. Yeah, that sounds about right.
Valid, Chris. Softcore, at the very least.
It's so fucking good.
Yeah. I mean, she's amazing.
I beat you with my small package. They say the best thing comes in small packages, but darling, you should have worn protection because I railed you with the biggest package there's ever been. Ma'am, calm down. This is a Wendy's. What are you doing? I can't.
Agreed, Big Mike. Yeah, the whole Outcast thing itself was pretty trash. So yeah, she's been doing the work of her life since becoming timeless.
Yes.
Ever since that first promo of Watch for the Shoe. And it's just been on run since then. But so yeah, she does a fabulous promo. It ends it up by just saying that God is a woman and her name is Timeless. Lights go out. And then we're on to Murder Machines, which no one cares.
Literally.
Murder Machines are calling out Hurt Syndicate.
Why? So you can take that L too? The fuck?
I don't know. Here's the thing, and for the 57 people watching this, I'm sorry if you like the guy. I still don't like Brian Cage. I don't get it. I think you have stripped all credibility away from the Murder Hawk by sticking him with Brian Cage.
I like Brian Cage partly because of who trained him.
Mm-hmm. He had a great trainer.
I sent you a present on Facebook, by the way.
Okay.
Yeah, she got a Moby Huge, Chris. That whole promo was unhinged.
Hey, who is that?
Megan Bain.
Oh, well.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Megan Bain dresses Cammy. We'll just throw that out there. Well done.
So apparently they're trying to get a hashtag started for tomorrow night called that says hashtag WWE Women Deserve Better. They want people to use it during SmackDown.
Absolutely.
I don't normally tweet during SmackDown, but I'm going to now.
Yeah.
This is why are we doing the Divas Revolution all over again?
Finley, tweet tomorrow. Little dick. You better do it right this time. Messing up our Twitter.
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna just go.
Sometimes you got to put these interns in their place. All right.
Anyway, Natalia, calm down. Why are we doing why do we have to do the Divas Revolution again? Why are we back here?
So I'm gonna give some credit where credit's due, since we're gonna take a spot and talk about that for a second. I don't talk bad about what Tripp has done a lot. And that's because I think Tripp, in the long run, is doing the things that we want. But you also got handed over this massive company in full creative control over the entire company. And so now he's trying to see where shit fits. Because we still see it with the tag division. Tag division still gets trashed because we don't know what to do with it, where to put it. I think what we need to do... No, he is my unpaid intern, Big Mike. He's going to sit over there, and he's going to do the tweets like I told him to. And the legend grows. I'm going to have to make him in the game now.
God damn it.
Our intern.
Oh, did you see that Gabe Kidd is going to be at Collision?
Yeah. He had a little...
So I was
vignette.
Kind of excited about that. And then I saw some things that I hope he doesn't show up. He can go away. I'm going to change the channel. No.
Yeah, he I don't even know what you're talking about, but he gives off weird energy to me.
Oh, he's problematic. He's a problem.
Well, let's talk about other problems, which is what they're doing with the women's division. Mike and Mike custody of Finley match, right? Intern papers on a pole match. Finley on a forklift.
Finley, yeah. Finley in a shark cage.
I'll beat him with a kendo stick like Bria did. But no, so I to give benefit of the doubt, I hope that's where we are. I hope he's just trying to figure out how it goes. What I would do, and I know, Trip, I know you're watching. I was waiting for it. I know you're watching. In fact, I'm going to look right here into the radio scope. All right. Have different creative committees for the different groups. That seems to be the easiest thing to me in the world. I don't know why that's not done, because they have one bullpen trying to do all of Raw, all of SmackDown, every pay-per-view. Why not have one for the women's division? Like, just a group just for the women's division to do their things. Hey, you've got 30 minutes this week for the women's matches. Figure it out.
I can go you one better.
Give them their own
and
show.
I saw somebody suggested on. Okay, two better. Yes, 100%. I have advocated for the women to have their own show for how long?
Yeah.
Like, this goes back how many years have I been advocating for the women's division? Like, this isn't just a since I came out thing. I've always been a huge proponent of the women's division.
Yeah.
But you don't have a creative team. You have one person.
Okay.
It's Natalya. You give Natalya the women's division.
You know, I'll again, you come up with an idea, and I think we can make that even better. Bring in some of the other ladies. You got Mickie James on the payroll. She's doing LFG right now.
Right.
Have her be part of that group. You got Alundra Blaze on the payroll. Bring her in. Have her be part of that group.
Oh, you could do it however. The women should be booking these matches.
Yep. And that's a good point, Chris.
Because
there's a report lately that Bayley is really pushing for another all-women's pay-per-view, which they need it. But again, we have to give them the TV time to get us there. That's a good point. It'll be like 4 a.m. on the Ocho.
Right after the dodgeball tournament.
Right.
Honestly, I'd give him a YouTube show. Look how much business Dark and Elevation did. And look how much it helped people. Yeah, they weren't great shows, but they were fun.
Well, and that brings up things that I've seen. I've seen people throw around the idea of, well, let's bring back 205 Live, because the high flyers don't get enough love right now. You could have a match or two before or after a SmackDown. Why not? We do it for main event that nobody watches. We do it for speed that nobody watches. Have the women do the same.
I'm willing to bet if you gave the women their own show, you're going to be real fucking surprised about how many people watch that.
Yeah.
And yes, there's going to be people that do the same thing they do when they watch AEW. They just watch it to shit on it. But, okay, you're watching it. I don't fucking care.
Yeah.
Give them their own show. Start it at 30 minutes and watch how many views it gets. Then give them an hour and watch how many views it gets.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to combine them, like ever fully make them all one entity. But I could see their X Division title becoming what it used to be for the X Division.
Yeah.
Because it used to be basically their cruiserweights, and then they started letting other people in, and I'm like, wow. Kevin Nash was an X Division champion. Stop it.
Well, no, hold on. So some of it I understood, because the idea was that it was supposed to be no limits, right? And so Samoa Joe, it's one of the greatest X Division champs of all time. To me, it's when they started messing with the belt of, well, now it's a plan B. So if you have it, you can cash it in. No,
Yeah.
no, have it be its own thing. Stop it. Yeah. It had a weight limit until Bubba Ray wanted to enter. Yeah, that's a good point. I remember that. Those vignettes, those in-ring things with him and Earl Hebner were hilarious. Of him stripping down, trying to get weight.
The NXT Women's Division and the TNA Knockouts Division, give me that show.
Mm-hmm.
Because that Knockout Division is solid, even without Jordan.
Well, and that right there, though, that right there could give us a new revolution. If we do like a show between the two shows of women's divisions. But again, we have to give them TV time to get there. Speaking of TV time for women, though, Willow Nightingale is backstage, and she's pissed off because last week she kind of got shoved aside because of the whole Marina Shafir thing. Well, then, say her name and she appears. Marina Shafir comes and starts trying to beat down Willow. Willow fights back. We kind of go off with that. We also had Death Riders come out. We had Mox say some words, which did sound very reminiscent to a Roman Reigns promo. I'm not against that, but I still just don't understand this. And Big Mike, I've said your name twice now about this particular thing. When Death Riders are done, we need to do that fantasy book of how this should have went, because we are so left field of what this should be. It is insane. Because we're still, we still got the Jay White thing going. That's still part of this, which New Japan guy. It makes a little more sense, at least, because a lot of the AEW guys came from New Japan, so it makes at least a little more sense. But we were just talking about, we had a match at the beginning of the night that we skipped over. And we think about it. Orange Cassidy came back to face Roderick Strong, which, first of all, where'd this match come from? Because all of a sudden we're just doing that again. And then Orange Cassidy's being thrown into this match that he absolutely is not going to win. Takeshita, Omega, and him, he's not walking away with that belt. So why we're just shoving him right back into that title picture just for this is strange. I don't know why we had to add a third person to it. Just make it Omega and Takeshita. That would have been perfectly fine.
Mike and Sped talked about it, and I said it there. There was no point in this match. There's not a fucking chance Orange Cassidy is winning that match.
Mm-hmm.
Why are we even doing this?
Yeah.
Like, Roddy left, when Roddy walked off, he looked pissed.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, well, understandable.
And here's the thing. I'm gonna hope that he looked pissed off, kayfabe. But if that's the case, then are we gonna pretend tension in the Undisputed Kingdom again? Are we already doing that? Of now he's gonna be mad because he's not as good as everybody else, and well, I mean, what the hell? And we had this whole like playing off each other thing on the floor with Orange Cassidy hugging Kyle O'Reilly.
I thought it was funny.
It was funny.
I thought that was funny.
But again, it's like you're causing this tension in this group that we just got back together just a few weeks ago. So, like, why are we doing that? This match made no sense at all. It had no reason to be there. If the guns were there instead of FTR, to me that would have made more sense.
The guns are back too.
Yeah,
they've had one match.
Well, and so here's to go back to like the whole point of this. So you've got one of the executive owners of the company that came back, and he's going for a mid-card title against a group that he finished with. His last run was to get away from that group before he left. And so now he's just going back up against Callis and their people, going for a second-rate title Nothing against the title. I'm just saying, like, he's world champ. Like him going for the
No,
their version of Intercontinental title.
I disagree with you on this one.
Well,
On that part.
Well, hold on, but there's a like it's adding all this together. Instead of coming back, now that he's healthy enough to come back and going, look, you ex-E guys that are coming over here thinking you know what's better for our company, for our image, for our vision, is out of pocket. And if anybody's going to take this company to new heights, it's going to be me now that I'm back. And then have him start building a team with Orange Cassidy, with the Guns, with the people that started this company.
Garcia.
But even then, I can go further back than that. We played this beat a while back of the Young Bucks, and they were leaving because they were scared. And then a month later, they show up in New Japan, win a tag title, come back and show off their fancy tag titles, and then go back and lose it. We haven't seen them since. Again,
did they lose those tag titles?
If I remember right, I think I saw that they lost them, yeah. But so, win or lose those titles, I don't care. But again, you're the executives of this company, and you don't come back when Kenny comes back. You've got Hangman doing this turn to bring him back to being cowboy shit, and you don't hook up with him and say, look, these bastards over here are trying to run our show, and we need to take care of that. And the Elite comes back and takes care of Mox and his crew. No, we get Edge and FTR and a New Japan guy. But it doesn't make any sense. The only thing that's made sense so far in this run is that Willow is trying to beat the shit out of Marina Shafir. Because Willow, one of the originals. Makes perfect sense that she's doing it. Them doing what they're doing with Edge and all them is like if Monet came after Marina Shafir for what she's doing. Would make no sense.
Well played, Chris.
No, we won't find out what those papers
were. Because long-term storytelling doesn't exist.
Nope. So that covers the AEW review that we're going to do for the night. We're not going to do any gaming tonight. This is going to become a mostly game day thing when the new WWE game comes out. We'll bring back GM mode. Now that it's online, we're going to be able to have a little fun there. I'm going to post something on Twitter later tonight or tomorrow with a QR code to join our Discord. Because on the Discord, what will happen is when we're playing, you're going to see on the stream my screen. You're only going to see what I'm seeing. If you want to see what Tori's doing on her side, you can go to our Discord and you'll be able to see her screen as well. So that's something to look forward to. Join the Discord if you want to see that stuff. It's not fully ready yet, so just if it looks a little messy when you get in there, it'll be cleaned up eventually. I'm new to Discord. I've got my wonderful daughter teaching me how to do Discord, so she's got like 5 different channels. But before we close out, though, I always want to kind of end with just a healthy little question and back and forth here. So we've got Ricky Starks that showed up. We know that Miro has also left. Aleister Black has also left. Presuming with the idea that he's going to be this dark arts master for Chad. That's kind of what they keep pushing. If that's not it, then I don't know why we keep pushing dark arts every time we talk about it.
It's Papa Shango.
No, it's Godfather and Papa Shango makeup. I don't know if you saw the Nation of Domination got back together for a local show.
Yeah.
And Godfather was in full Papa Shango makeup. I'm like, what? Papa Shango was never in the Nation of Domination. There's a whole other person. Do I need to say Papa Shango versus the Godfather versus the Good Father for a on a pole match? My question for you tonight, Miro. Does WWE, I was starting to turn into Vladimir Kozlov there, WWE, do they take him back?
Yes.
And if so, what do you do? Where do you stick him?
So, if we put the IC title on Sheamus at Mania, the Monday after, when he comes out to celebrate, Miro interrupts him.
Oh.
We start that feud and Miro takes it off him at SummerSlam.
Hold on. Let me clarify here. Miro or Rusev?
Whatever. Because they brought Shawn Spears back as Shawn Spears, they brought Fandango as JDC. Like, they're bringing back people with their new names. Just call him Miro.
So I say Miro just for one particular reason, and that's because Rusev and Miro were two different characters.
True.
And I don't think we can bring Rusev back. I don't think that character is what it is, one, without Lana. And two, it's a whole nationalism thing. And I think we want to stay away from that.
Yeah, with the state of the world, I agree.
Yeah.
And I think bringing him in as Miro.
Now bring the Redeemer character. I'm good with that.
The Redeemer character would be amazing.
God's Redeemer. I'm good with it. It makes perfect. Doesn't make. I was going to say perfect sense. It doesn't make perfect sense, but to me, it's a perfect change to that character. To have him come in and be something strong, something confident, something he knows he can do. Chris wrote a lot of stuff here. Good
that wouldn't be bad either.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm at the bottom there.
I'm assuming you're talking about on the game there, Chris. So Good Brothers and Duke Hudson, I think, are still going to be playable. Just for the simple fact that a lot of the people that have been let go over the last year are still in the game and they're letting them be playable. So I would assume they're just going to leave them in there. They're just not going to promote it. But I could be wrong. I haven't looked at the roster page today to see if any new names have popped up, but I've seen kind of some names popping up here and there. So that would be my guess. I don't want to see King Cuerno or Mil Mascaras, to be honest. I don't want to see either one of those.
And Miro showing up in NXT to take on Obo would be amazing. Again, bump that. That's big meaty man slapping meat.
Well, and here's the thing with the people coming in from AEW, I think the NXT transition is better for them, and that's just because it gets their audience a chance to kind of get to know them again. Especially if we're going to bring them in with the.
I got to grab something. Keep going.
Okay. Especially if we're going to bring them in with their AEW gimmick. Obviously, Aleister Black is going to be a little bit different. I kind of thought for a minute at the pay-per-view that Aleister Black was going to be the head of the four dudes. Because the lights went down, they were still out in the crowd. I wasn't expecting them to rush in the dark from around the crowd to being in the ring.
Right.
So I was highly expecting like Aleister Black to be standing in the middle of the ring and get a black mask to Obafemi. And then maybe he does like he did before and just leave, because apparently you can just kick a brother in the face and then just leave the company. Nothing happens. And then we find out 2 months later that Obafemi can't wrestle anymore. and then his like friends leave him,
Don't just stop it. Stop it.
and then they'd be right too, because New Day's right. I do agree. I think him coming back there would be fun. I also think him showing up on TNA would be fun. I think he could have a nice like main roster run on TNA, like in their main event division there. So no, I don't know. Maybe we'll see that. That would be kind of fun. What would you think about him showing up over in TNA?
I definitely think. Sorry, I had to send Mary a picture of the book.
That's fine.
I forgot the book.
Yes.
I think it wouldn't be bad. I don't think even if it was just a brief 6-month TNA run, I'm fine with it. I don't think it would hurt him. I don't think it would hurt anything to do it. I don't think it diminishes anything. No bread, no water, all meat. That's 100% what that shit would be.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it hurts anything. It doesn't diminish Alistair or Miro, either one. It doesn't hurt either one of them. Did Alistair ever have the NXT title? He had the NXT title.
I kind of thought the same thing, Chris. The way Trick did in that one like promo-ish that he was doing while Thorpe was in the ring kind of made it seem like he might have been behind the whole thing too. So I would not have been surprised if someone would have from that group would have came in there and helped out Trick. Yeah, no, I think it'd be a good run for both of them. I don't think there's anything wrong against it. I think the wonderful wrestling internet community gets too hung up on, well, they shouldn't go to NXT. NXT is still a viable show. They've got great booking. They're doing good numbers. They're doing just as good numbers as AEW was. So there's no reason why we can't say that they're on the same level. But with that being said, we're going to go ahead and close out tonight. We've been sitting on this thing for 1 hour, 56 minutes. We thank the 59 people currently watching us. We thank Big Mike. Thank Chris for jumping in chat. For the rest of you watching, jump in a chat next time. We love answering the questions. I like the fact that we got derailed and got to talk about some other stuff. That'd be kind of fun.
And we have ADHD, so getting us distracted is not hard.
However, up next, Mike attempts to prove Rachel's innocence as a previously unbeaten Boston lawyer, sets his sights on Harvey. Coming up on Suits, so stay tuned. Thank you all for joining us. If you want to follow any of our stuff here, catch us down on our socials down there at the bottom. Got a nice TikTok running, got a great fan base over there. Twitch, coming up, what we're going to start doing is on Tuesdays, we will be streaming on YouTube and on Twitter, where a lot of you are seeing us here. On Thursdays, we will start going over on Twitch instead. Now, whether we stop YouTube or stop X on those days, I don't know which yet. We'll figure that out.
We're going to have Discord going too, so that's going to get...
Yeah. Well, the Discord is mainly just so people can see your stuff. Yeah. So, absolutely.
Look, don't be jealous if I have more viewers, because I'm the talent.
Yes, Suits LA is on Sunday. I cannot wait to see that.
Should be pretty good.
At some point, I need to hear him say to his client, "You failed the city." I'm just saying that needs to happen at least once, just as a little throw-in. But underneath our names here, Tori, the talent, me, the brains, is our personal X's or Twitters. Definitely reach out to us personally as well. We are working on a couple of things right now. I'm going to go ahead and let one of them slide here on what it is. We are working on an interview, a very fun interview that'll happen sometime in March with a very cool independent wrestler that Tori and I have been a fan of for a long time. I'm hoping that works through the way we're planning it. And we'll get to talk to that person.
Totally shot my shot for another one today, so we'll see.
You did. So hopefully we can see that. Just to tease that, she reached out to a recently released female wrestler. We'll just leave it at that. So we'll see if we can get them on the show and talk a little bit to them about what's going on in their lives.
Look, if they just respond to me, I'm gonna freak out a little bit. So
valid. With the one that we kind of booked, like I lost my shit when I saw a reply. I'm like, holy hell, you actually like said something to me. Awesome.
GCW is coming to Arkansas.
What? Well, that's cool.
Interesting. Okay,
Um,
now I have to look into this because I've never going to a GCW show would be kind of cool.
yeah. Yeah, Chris. Yeah, Alistair had a great run in the Black and Gold era.
Yeah, he did.
It,
I forgot he had the title.
yeah, he was one of those that he definitely should not have been called up because they had no plan for him once he got there, other than him being in a dark room that nobody knocked. I don't know if we were trying to do a Breaking Bad thing of he's the one who knocks. Maybe, I don't know. We'll see. What's the shocked face? What's going on?
If we go to All In,
Mhm.
there's a GCW show at Gillies the night before.
Oh, that could be fun.
Mm-hmm.
That could be a lot of fun. I will not be sitting front row for those though. I've heard some sick stuff happen in front of your eyes.
No, I'm perfectly fine sitting in the back. I just going would be super cool.
But yeah, catch us on the socials down below. Watch this on VOD if you didn't watch the whole thing. I know Big Mike does that, so thank you for that. Remember that we are a wrestling community, a safe wrestling community. We want to help build this safe and wonderful community together. Watch all of our friends of the show. We got Big Mike over at the Run-In Wrestling Podcast. Him and Sped. Great show to watch there. We got
Mike and Jess.
Mike and Jess.
Chairshot.
Yeah.
The rundown.
Mike and Jess. I'm Mike.
Sorry,
he's Mike.
John and Jess.
First of all,
John from Chairshot.
You put the right one first, which is it's Jess and John and
Jess and it doesn't matter.
Don't swap those. That's right. The show got more popular when she got back from vacation, and rightfully so. Not that he's an ugly man. He just looks like Wish.com MJF. But you can catch him over on the Lowdown. Yeah.
Cora Jade came face to face with Tessa Blanchard. Just call her a racist. Punch her in the mouth, Cora.
Just say you're a racist.
Fuck Cora. Fuck Cora looks good too.
Which wrestler left WWE and became bigger? I mean Cody for one. Cody definitely did that. Big Mike St. John and Jess. You're gonna get some heat with Jess. That's her baby. But definitely them. There's
Cody's
one on
a good one.
There's another one on the tip of my tongue, and I don't want to say it wrong.
Who?
Big Mike, put Roger's show in the chat. I feel like a piece of shit that I don't remember the name of it now. But if you'll put that in the chat for me so I can shout them out too. Yeah, they had a Penta match, Grayson Waller main event. A lot of people were mad about that, but like
the more reps he gets in that WWE ring because it's a different size, the better.
Yeah. I'm sure him and Grayson put on a banger. Grayson's good.
I'm sure they did. Yeah, he is.
But yeah, so him leaving became bigger. Drew did.
I think Mox became bigger.
Yeah, I think Mox did too. There's been a few that have went over. Like at WWE, like we're a buffet here, Chris. Not what Chris. Who was that asked that question? King Neptune. Wrestling's a buffet. I prefer WWE just because WWE has a little bit of everything. You have the hardcore wrestling stuff. Thank you, Herb and Raj. Thank you so much. Tuesdays at 8 Central. They're unfortunately at the same time as us, which I don't know. We may talk about moving that later.
I was going to say we can talk about that too.
But they're a different group than us too, though. They do football stuff. Great show though. I don't know a lot about football because I basically just watch OSU and 49ers, and that's the only thing I really watch. Oklahoma State University, by the way, just for people to clarify, OSU. I said OSU one time, and they're like, Ohio? I'm like, no.
Yeah, like that destroyer he hits is ridiculous, and part of that is just
Yeah.
how athletic he is.
Yeah. By the way, he did a thing with Sheamus. So Sheamus does the workout stuff.
The workouts.
Did you see it?
First of all, can we talk about how ripped Sheamus has gotten?
Oh yeah. It looked like old Sheamus. Like that was so weird because it literally like with the he has the low, high, and tight now. He shaved his head back down, had the handlebar mustache thing going on again. He looked like old Sheamus. I'm very happy to see him come back in the ring.
But no, I haven't watched that, and I need to. But we're at like 2 hours, so.
Well, let me just say this about that then, just real quick. I saw one clip of it, and he's such a badass. So they're doing curls. And he says something about, like, is that working your bicep or something like that? And he goes, because you tore it at one point, didn't you? And he's, like, pointing. He's like, yeah, tore up here. Tore right there. I have half a bicep. And he stops him, and he goes, well, hold on, wait a minute. So you never got it repaired? He's like, no, never repaired. Still a torn bicep. Excuse me, sir? First of all, you're doing curls with half a bicep, and you're wrestling half a bicep. The shit are you made of? That man is a badass. So anyway, I know we've tried to close this out like 3 or 4 times now. This time it's actually going to happen. I appreciate you guys. Love you guys. Thank you for joining the show. And we will see you on the next one. Bye.
Here's the cover. Can he do it? Kick out at 2.